Blacks as we are set to get underway from the Don Haskins Center, and Titus Verhoeven wins the opening tip. Sule Boom will start things off offensively for the Miners.
Looks like Southern Utah starting in their 2-3 zone like we thought they would.
Get it down low to Verhoeven. Shot clock now under 10. The three ball from Hollins is off the mark. Miners fighting for an offensive rebound, but it's picked up by Knight III. He didn't like his matchup one-on-one, so he pulls it back out. And the Thunderbirds will get their first crack on the offensive end.
The Miners are going to need to shoot it well to beat this zone.
Verhoeven denies the entry pass into Spurgeon. It's a turnover. Keontae Kennedy in transition with the left off the mark. He tried to put it back, but that wouldn't go either.
Good defense by the big man from Southern Utah.
There's Harrison Butler with the first bucket of the evening, and Southern Utah jumps out to the 2-0 lead. That was something that the Miners had in that win against Western Illinois. A very fast start, jumped out to an 11-0 run to open things up and never look back from there against the Leathernecks. Verhoeven fighting down low, but good defense there from Jason Spurgeon, the sophomore out of Toowoomba, Australia. He is 6'11".
The Miner fans got to sit down really early this game. Last game stood up for 7 minutes straight as UTEP held Western Illinois to no points for a while.
Another steal by Verhoeven, pushes it up ahead to Boom in transition, and there's the first basket of the night for the Miners.
Boom probably excited to get started early here. I'm sure he's looking to build off that triple-double last game.
2 early turnovers for Southern Utah. They average just over 12.5 a game, and almost another steal here from Boom. And he does poke it away. Agnew picks it up. He goes on his own and draws a hard foul. John Knight III goes there quickly to try and help him up. No bad blood there. But the first personal foul of the evening will go against John Knight III, and it happens because of another forced turnover by the Miners.
I think it was a good, clean foul. Knight's very athletic, as you could see there, head above the rim trying to block that shot. I think we're going to see a lot of this from Golding's defense. You know, they like to force turnovers, and Southern Utah hasn't done a very good job of handling the ball versus them so far.
I mentioned Jamari Sibley not getting the start tonight. Alfred Hollins getting it in his place, but just over 2 minutes into this one, the first substitution is Jamari Sibley, the transfer out of Georgetown, who has really turned things on of late. Agnew goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and now he'll take a break on the bench, and we'll get our first look at Jarrell Satterfield. Transfer out of Ranger College, but a local product, graduated from Mayfield High School just up the road in Las Cruces. And he's been pretty much just a shooter for UTEP so far in his first season. When he gets hot from three, he can get it going.
Really quick subs here.
Spurgeon throws it down. Nice entry pass, and he gets a good look. And quickly, the Thunderbirds tie it back up at 4.
Spurgeon's really played well lately for Southern Utah. Come on here at the end of the year.
Sule Boom knocks down a 3. And the Miners jump out to a 3-point lead. That's a good sign early on for the Miners when Sule Boom gets going. He does almost every game. Sometimes, though, it takes him a little bit longer to get going. A lot of his damage is done in the second half, but when he's hitting shots early like that, you got to watch out for the type of performance he could have. As another turnover against Southern Utah. That is number 4, and a cause for concern for head coach Todd Simon in his 6th season for the Thunderbirds.
Golding has to be really happy with his defense so far, forcing all of these turnovers.
Here's Sibley with his first shot of the evening. A little bit short. Looked like Boom was going to be able to get the offensive rebound, and instead it goes to Southern Utah. First shot of the night from Dre Marine, and Marine knocks it down, and that's a good sign for Southern Utah. He's coming off a night where he had 27 points in the win against Kent State on 10 of 16 from the field, including 7 of 10 from three-point land. Kennedy's response a little too strong. So Marine having a game where he shot 70% from beyond the arc.
this is the kind of game Southern Utah wants. Quick shots. They like to shoot it. They can get hot. I don't think UTEP likes this kind of game style.
And this is a game on paper. You see the name Southern Utah University. If you're a UTEP fan, you may think this may be an easy win, but this is a very talented team out of the Big Sky Conference. Finished second in the conference. Upset in the first basket coming off of that triple-double. Again, just the second in UTEP history. And you think about that, how storied this program is. Of course, the 1966 team that won the national championship and all of the years under the great Don Haskins, and to only have 2 triple-doubles now in the entire career history of this program. It just goes to speak to how great Sule Boom has been for this program. Here's another steal. Keontae Kennedy throws it down in transition. When he gets out in the open court, look out. And it's another turnover and 2 more points off of it. 4 steals in not even 5 minutes of play for the Miners. Marine's shot is tipped by Boom. It falls into the lap of Southern Utah. Now an offensive rebound from Butler, but he can't get the putback, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Thunderbirds. Missed opportunity there. But boy, Hooper, how about the defensive performance so far for the Miners?
Well, you know, Coach Golding preaches defense, and they are really turning up the heat on Southern Utah here early. They don't want them to get on a run, build a lead early with their three-point shooting. You can see it here by forcing all of the turnovers.
Zarek Onyema checks in for the first time, so he's playing the 5 right now for the Miners. Sibley will try his luck for 3, and it's perfect.
His three-point shooting's really improved throughout the year. He actually hit the 3 that got Sule Boom the triple-double last game.
Boom stayed in late in the game in a situation he normally wouldn't be on the court with how comfortably they were winning, but they gave him the crack at the triple-double. He had a kick-out pass to the corner, and Sibley knocked it down under pressure. Marine tries another 3, and boy, can this kid shoot. Uncheck that. Sorry, that was Nick Fleming checking in for the first time. He can also shoot. So Fleming makes the bucket to get it within 2. A long 3 from Christian Agnew. That's not the kind of shot you're used to seeing out of him. Not sure that Joe Golding likes that one.
Yeah, I'd like to see UTEP take a little more time on offense.
Mason Fawcett gets his own rebound and then is fouled on his way to the rim. It'll go against Sule Boom for the reach.
Fawcett is a very good offensive rebounder for the Southern Utah team. You know, undersized at 6'6", but was one of the top offensive rebounders in the Big Sky.
He is the all-time leading rebounder for the program, and he needs just 2 tonight, coming into tonight's game, to get to the number 700 for his career. He has 1, so he stands at 699 right now after that offensive rebound. He was all Big Sky third team this year, one of 4 1,000-point scorers on this roster. He's a 71% free throw shooter, but he goes 1 of 2.
That's impressive, sticking with the school for 4 years. Don't see that a lot nowadays.
A couple of these guys have been here for 5 as well. Just a ton of experience, not just in terms of college basketball, Hooper, but to your point, staying with the program. Spoke with Todd Simon, the head coach here, who's been here for 6 seasons now, earlier today, and he said it's just a culture thing. This is a group of guys that likes being around one another. They believe, they buy into the process and what they preach. And he said it's not uncommon when they're even not at practice or not in meetings to still have 3 or 4 guys around the facility hanging out together.
It sounds like Simon's built a great culture over there in Utah.
There is a look at Todd Simon, the head coach in his 6th season. He has done such incredible things, especially the last 2 years. 41-15 in the last 2 years, including 26-8 in the conference. And for the first time in program history, they have back-to-back 20-plus win seasons. They're standing at 21-11 coming into tonight. Almost another steal as Kennedy bats that pass down. Now the ball's on the floor. Shot clock down to 10. Fleming thought about another 3, instead takes it into the paint and gets the scoop shot to go.
Almost looked like a goaltending there by Onyema.
Yeah, he was trying to block that, and had he touched that, it definitely would have been a goaltend. Kennedy thought about the three for a moment. Instead, Sule Boom will take it from the wing, a little bit short.
Southern Utah's done a good job here of holding off UTEP, only down by 1 despite all the turnovers.
In part because they're shooting 50%, 5 of 10 in the early going, including 2 of 4 from 3. Spurgeon gets double teamed down low and throws it away. Another turnover, another opportunity in transition for the Miners. Boom finds Onyema, who's doubled down low and still finds a way to get the basket. Zarek Onyema, just a freshman out of San Antonio, Texas, but a big body, 6'8", 220, plenty of muscle on him for a young guy. And he is a force to be reckoned with down low.
You know, Sully did something really impressive there, not getting out of control, being able to stop on a dime, make the pass. A lot of guys there would have drawn a charge or turned it over.
Cross-court pass from Fleming to the corner, and the three is short from Mason Fawcett. Boom with the runner. That one's short. Get to host the next game, a quarterfinal game for the right to get to the semifinals. It'll be against Portland on Friday night. So a lot at stake here for both teams to try and keep that season going and get a home game, another home game. Southern Utah got to host Kent State, won a back-and-forth battle in that one, ended up holding off the Golden Flashes 83-79 in that first round to advance to this game against the Miners. The Miners had an easier go of it against Western Illinois in the opener, blowing them out on their way to this opportunity here against Southern Utah. Very good opponent. Here's Sule Boom, a little strong, and a strong rebound from John Knight III. Titus Verhoeven loses his bounce, so does Knight III. Good recovery from Verhoeven to disrupt the shot by Jason Spurgeon, but the rebound comes out to the Thunderbirds.
Really athletic of Knight there not to get a traveling call. Keep the ball in play.
Beautiful backdoor pass, Fleming to John Knight III, and that gives the Thunderbirds the lead.
In this zone by the Thunderbirds, it's a 2-3, but it's also a matchup. It looks almost like they're in man half the time and in zone half the time.
Spin move from Christian Agnew in the paint, and the shot goes. His nickname is Saucy. It's for his dance moves, but it's also his ball handling prowess. And you saw just how quick and flashy he can be with the basketball there.
And that is the weakness in these type of zones, right at the top of the key, right at the high post.
So that puts the Miners back up by 1 halfway through this first half. And then Moody on the floor for the first time this evening for Southern Utah, sporting that white headband. Look at the crossover from John Knight III, but I don't know that he got it off. Shot clock expired just before it got out of his hands. And it's another turnover back to the Miners. Now, that's been the real cause for concern for the Thunderbirds in this early going. That's 7 turnovers in just over 10 minutes.
It has. You know, we'll see how they handle it. They've been able to outscore their turnovers up to this point, but if they keep turning the ball over, you know, you could see the points swing the other way.
Joe Golding in his first season as the head man for the Miners, leading them to their first 20-win season and postseason berth since the 2015 season in year 1. And the community here is really bought into Golding as that one rattles in and out for Jarrell Satterfield. And it's last touch by Southern Utah. Good extra effort there from Titus Verhoeven. And the Miners will get an extra possession out of it. But Joe Golding, coming from Wichita Falls, Texas, grew up a big fan of the Miners, watching the great Don Haskins coach here. Led Abilene Christian to that massive upset over Texas in the NCAA tournament a year ago, landing him this job. Turnover by the Miners, and how about that finish from Nick Fleming?
Really acrobatic take there by Fleming to go up and under the defender.
And that puts the Thunderbirds back in front. 4th lead change of the evening in the early going. Verhoeven going to his strong left side, and it won't fall for him.
I thought he had to spin back to the right there, but, you know, like you said, he's a dominant left-hander, more comfortable with the left.
And another knockdown 3 from Nick Fleming. He's feeling it in the early going. Coming off the bench, and Fleming now up to 9 points tonight. And actually with that, that's 3 more. That's actually 12 points now. So the first player on the floor in double figures, Nick Fleming, has 12 of the team's 22. And Verhoeven a little too strong in the jumper. Fleming only averages 2 points, 1 rebound a game, and 10 minutes a game. But they've got some guys banged up, and we mentioned Tevian Jones, their leading scorer, out for the season. He's going to try it again and knocks it down from the middle of the Franklin Mountains.
And this is what these guys can do. They like to shoot. They like to talk a little trash. I mean, they lost their leading scorer, but still beat a really good Kin State team last game.
This is already a season and career high now for Nick Fleming. His season high was 9 points. His career high is 10 points. He's got 15 in just over 12 minutes. I don't think this was on the scouting report for UTEP.
UTEP's missed a few shots here. Southern Utah's making a good run. Basketball is a game of runs, and UTEP's got to get a stop here.
Now Moody will try a corner 3. That's an air ball.
Crowd will give them something for that. UTEP got lucky there, though. They left them wide open. Maybe that was part of the game plan, though.
Well, at this point, you figure they're trying to stop Fleming first. Sibley banging it down low, but unable to get the finish around the rim, and now the Miners have gone cold.
And these aren't terrible looks. They're getting it into the paint. Maybe Titus's jump shot, they would have liked something better, but I like what UTEP's doing offensively. Haven't
scored in over 3 minutes, 1 for their last 8. And it's an 8-0 run right now for the Thunderbirds.
Notice this run's happening as Sule Boom is sitting on the bench.
Fawcett goes reverse with 2 left on the really good stretch of a couple of years. 41-15 over the last 2. Was named the Big Sky Coach of the Year last year. They won the regular season title as well. The only thing that's been elusive for them over the last couple of years is getting it done in the conference tournament and punching a ticket to the big dance. As Zarek Onyema comes out of the timeout and is called for the offensive foul. So that'll be a turnover back to Southern Utah, and the Thunderbirds have a chance to extend this lead in this run.
It's a difficult call to make. Looked like it was a flop to me. They don't find college players for flops, though.
Eric Elkin alongside Hooper Vint with you here inside the Don Haskins Center. Good crowd on hand once again. As a backdoor pass and cut found to Harrison Butler with the easy basket. And the run is now 12-0. So UTEP's going to have to find something from someone. Trying to go back to Onyema, who gets double teamed down low. Still puts up the shot anyway. And it's last touch by Onyema, and it goes back to Southern Utah.
UTEP's getting them right where they want them. UTEP's bigs just aren't finishing at the rim.
And the Miners as a team are shooting just 25%, or 27%, 25% from 3, 6 of 22, and only 2 of 8 from downtown.
And Southern Utah's doing a good job of defending down low without fouling.
And this is all despite 7 early turnovers from Southern Utah in the first 10.5 minutes or so. As John Knight III cuts into the lane and easily scores. Joe Golding looks back to his bench looking for some type of answer, but right now the Miners can't find one. It's a 14-0 run. Maybe it's from Sule Boom, and he finally puts a stop to the run. It was 18-2 over 5:37. 14 straight points for Southern Utah, but Sule Boom's 3 gets it back to within 10.
That is a critical shot by Sule, cutting it from 13 to 10. Let's see if UTEP can get a stop here. Otherwise, Southern Utah is going to extend that lead again.
Fleming's been the hot hand for the Thunderbirds, and he finally misses. That's his first miss tonight. He was 6 of 6, including 3 of 3 from 3 for 15 points through those first 10-plus minutes. And again, that's a career high for him, a guy who averages just 2 points a game and 10 minutes a game, a senior out of Atlanta, Georgia. He did play a lot more in the last game against Kent State in the opener of this tournament. He played 22 minutes, had 7 points and 3 assists. But never, I don't think, that the Miners expect Nick Fleming to be the one coming out on fire for Southern Utah.
It was Marine last game. Looks like it's going to be Fleming this game. They have guys stepping up to replace their leading scorer, who they're missing right now.
They've got 3 other players who average double figures. John Knight III, Dre Marine, and Mason Fawcett. And Jason Spurgeon and Harrison Butler, the other starters, aren't far behind, averaging 8 a game. So they tend to have some scoring distribution. That last foul, by the way, on Fleming, that's his second personal. So he has to go to the bench. Here's Spurgeon against Onyema. Finds the cutting Marine, and that is well drawn up. And a good look from Dre Marine.
Beautiful pass by Spurgeon. Backing his man down, taking his time.
Trying to get Hollins down low, and he uses the glass over Harrison Butler. Gets it back to 10.
UTEP needed that. Southern Utah's playing them one-on-one in the post. UTEP just hasn't been scoring.
Crowd trying to will the Miners back into this one defensively. Spurgeon will try the three, and he knocks it down. The 6'11" center out of Toowoomba, Australia. He can knock down that three every once in a while. He's 8 of 22 coming into the season. So that's his 9th three-pointer of the year. Kennedy tries to respond on the other end. That's a little too strong. And Southern Utah will go back on offense, up 13. For Southern Utah, it's not a fluke. Southern Utah averages nearly 79 points per game. They average 46% from the field, but tonight in the early going, they're shooting 62.5%, 15 of 24 from the field, including 5 of 10 from three. And they finally miss a short look there from Mason Fawcett. That will look like another one that was going to go. And maybe the Miners can build something off of that miss. Keontae Kennedy takes it with the left. Kennedy's been playing so well of late. That's just his second basket of the night, though. And if he can get going along with Sule Boom, that's how the Miners likely will get back into this one. Foul called against Christian Agnew. Just the third team foul. Not a lot of whistles in this one. Both teams with 3 personal fouls. So neither team near the bonus with 2:49 left to go in the first half.
The refs are letting them play, but I don't think it's been too physical either to cause any cause for concern among the refs. It's been a pretty good game so far.
Trying to find the entry pass to Spurgeon. Shot clock down to 5. Marine drives, finds Spurgeon in the paint with the floater. And that shot clock went all the way down to 2. And Southern Utah with another made basket.
Great patience by Southern Utah there.
Last touch by Southern Utah. It'll stay with the Miners. Keontae Kennedy showing a little more aggression the last couple of possessions.
Southern Utah's zone has done what it's designed to do. Take UTEP out of their typical comfort zone. Most teams play man.
Agnew had a little bit of difficulty on that entry pass. And he gets fouled in the lane. It'll go against Anen Moody, the redshirt senior out of Dickinson, North Dakota. He is a transfer from North Dakota, was named Mr. Basketball in the state of North Dakota. Back-to-back North Dakota Gatorade Boys Basketball Player of the Year. Sule Boom a little too strong with the left. He doesn't miss those very often. John Knight III, no foul called as Titus Verhoeven must have gotten a piece of it.
They are letting them play.
Todd Simon asking for the foul, not getting it. Instead, it's Sule Boom with the open three. Bookmark that one with just under 2 minutes to go. The coaching staff of Southern Utah very upset with that sequence. But that goes from potentially free throws for John Knight III and extending the lead to up to 15 into instead a three-pointer on the other end to get this game back down to 10.
You're right, Eric. That's a big swing there. And Sule hits another three when his team's down by 13 to cut it to 10. Can UTEP get a stop now?
Well, the Knight picks up the dribble. They don't call double dribble, and with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, his three's off the mark.
I'd need to see it again, but I'm pretty sure that was a double dribble.
Yeah, I thought he lost the dribble as well. Boom, attacking, draws the whistle, and all of a sudden, the whistle's becoming a little more frequent in these last couple of minutes as the Miners have made it a point of trying to get to the rim these last few possessions. And this is something Sule Boom does so much of, is getting to the free throw line.
I think it's a good strategy. You know, they were going down low to their bigs. The bigs just weren't finishing in their one-on-one battles with the post defenders. So now the guards are taking it inside.
Spurgeon gets called for that one. That's his first. So the only person in some bit of foul trouble is Nick Fleming with 2 on the bench, who has been the hot hand in this first half, 15 points. Boom misses the second free throw. Rare miss for him, an 85% free throw shooter.
Got to hit those, especially if you're Boom. I know he wants that one back. And
especially when you're trying to inch back into this game after the T-Birds have just been red hot from the field.
3 in the key.
There's the violation. Miner fans were trying to get a travel called at first, but instead ends up being the 3-second violation. So that's the first turnover in quite some time. Southern Utah had 7 in the first 10.5 minutes, and that's number 8. So they almost played the entire second half of this first half, the final 10 minutes, without any turnovers, and that's been part of their big run as well. Not sure if that was deflected, but way off the mark. And then it's last touch by Southern Utah. Looks like that ball may have bounced on the baseline. So a break there for the Miners as they'll get the ball with 17 left on the shot clock. About a 19-second difference between shot clock and game clock.
UTEP needs to take advantage of these turnovers.
Boom trying to draw the contact. No whistle this time. Was looking for a foul called. And there is less than a second difference. Todd Simon felt a little bit ill because of the turbulence, so he was worried about how his guys would perform in this one in the early going. One of those flights didn't get back in, didn't get into El Paso, I should say, until after midnight. But certainly don't look tired here.
They don't. Looks like we're going to get a little staggered.
John Knight III gets it off the glass to go. It looked like Keontae Kennedy was trying to foul him. They weren't in the bonus. Here's the full number 7, but right now they're trying to keep year number 6 under Todd Simon going in the Basketball Classic. Fans rise to their feet at the start of the second half. We're underway, and the Thunderbirds will be on offense to start things off, trying to extend an 11-point lead. An early whistle and a foul called on the floor before the shot. It'll go against Christian Agnew, his second personal. So after not a ton of whistles from a foul standpoint in that first half, we see an early one here just 21 seconds in.
Well, I like it. I think UTEP needs to come out here aggressive on defense like they did in the first half and force turnovers. They're going to have to claw their way back in this one.
Dre Marine was the hot hand against Kent State. Will try the 3 from straight away and knocks it down.
And that's what Marine can do, hitting 7 for 10 last game. He's a scary shooter and got a quick release on at that.
Had 5 points in the first half, fairly quiet for him when you compare it to his night against Kent State. But when he gets going, look out. Sule Boom off the mark. He thought he got fouled, but no call from the officials there.
That's just not a good shot. Quick, without working it inside.
Fans wanted to travel. That one's knocked away, and then a whistle, and it's last touched by Southern Utah. Ball will go over to the Miners, so another turnover for Southern Utah. They did a really good job in the final 10 minutes of the first half taking care of the basketball after a horrific start. There was 7 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of the game.
We'll see if UTEP can actually capitalize off these turnovers in this half.
Try and get Titus Verhoeven going, and miscommunication there. He looked for the kick out to Kennedy. Kennedy instead cut to the basket, and it's thrown to Joe Golding on the bench instead, who's less than pleased.
Offensively, UTEP just has not found their groove tonight. Maybe that'll come from Kennedy. Maybe it'll come from Sule. We'll see.
I think Kennedy thought Verhoeven was going to go up with the left and was trying to crash the boards, but Verhoeven was double teamed. Look at that pass underneath. And Spurgeon gets the friendly bounce. Mason Fawcett with the vision to find him. And it is a good start here. 5-0 run in the early going for Southern Utah. And the Miners still having a hard time finding the bottom of the basket, but a fortunate bounce there to get a second possession out of it. Boom open in the corner, and that's off the mark. But an offensive rebound tapped out by Verhoeven. Agnew will try from three, and he knocks it down. Christian Agnew, just 29% on the season from three, but when he gets an open look like that, he can get him to fall. Officials indicate they want to review it, so when they get a chance at a whistle, they're going to review to see if his toe was on the line or not, but for now it stands as a three. That ball's tipped away. Marine able to corral it before it gets to half court. And fouled on the three is Harrison Butler. It's going to go against Jarrell Satterfield. Miners looked like they had done everything right defensively on that possession until they fouled the three-point shooter.
One of the worst fouls in the game of basketball. You know, you defend all the way for 30 seconds hard and then give them 3 free throws.
And it wasn't really an open look for Butler either. He's a 69% free throw shooter. 6'5" senior out of Santa Ana, California, played his high school ball at Mater Dei. He is one of the 4,000-point career scorers. He is the most recent one, surpassing that mark back on March 3rd in a game against Idaho State. But you talk about guys who have been with the program for a long time. This is his 4th season with Southern Utah. He's played in 120 games as a Thunderbird.
And you're seeing that here. You know, this is an experienced team playing on the road. They played a lot of basketball together and for the same coach. They know the system. They know what they're going to do, and they're coming out here executing their game plan. Something you don't see a lot. Looked like Boom stepped in, but he made it, so it doesn't matter.
3 for 3 from the free throw line for Harrison Butler.
If you get your foot back before he shoots, actually they don't care.
Kennedy thinking about a three. Looks like Southern Utah is almost trying to bait him into it.
You got a pump fake there or shoot it.
He gets an open one here, and that one's a little bit off the mark. Stolen away by Christian Agnew, and he did a good job to pull up and not end up causing a charge there.
Coach
Fawcett posted up underneath, hoping to draw that call. Instead, Christian Agnew with some good body control, and that is a fortunate break for the Miners.
Yeah, Coach Golding was waving his guys up there, full court man, wanted them to press right after that turnover.
Gets it down to 14. John Knight III trapped. Loses his dribble, having a hard time. Shot clock down to 2. The air ball and the shot clock violation. It'll be a turnover. Todd Simon asking for a foul on that shot. Not going to get it there. Instead, it's a turnover. And that is number 11 on the night for Southern Utah with still over 16 minutes left to play. Miners have scored 10 points off those 11 turnovers, trying to score again here. And that one won't fall for Sule Boom, but the extra effort, and he throws it off of Marine's leg, and that gives the Miners an extra shot.
Great effort by Sule Boom there.
That ball touched about every part of the rim. The Thunderbird bench was asking for an over-the-back call, but instead it's thrown off of Marine's leg, and Miners with an extra possession here. See if they can take advantage. Tough move by Kennedy. He gets the offensive board and then is fouled on his way up from behind. Miners trying to chip away here, benefiting from 7 offensive rebounds, a couple in the last few minutes to give them some extra chances here. Now Keontae Kennedy go to the line for 2 free throws. On the season, he's 67%, but he's been shooting it better from the free throw line since he's come back from injury, 6 games back.
You could see both coaches there really fired up going into that timeout. Golding trying to will his guys to guard and get back in this game, and Coach Simon just trying to get his guys not to make any more mistakes.
And they're coming out with that full court press. Southern Utah does a nice job of breaking it. They had a chance there potentially for an open 3 from Mason Fawcett, but instead will take some time off the shot clock, and now the UTEP crowd gets to its feet, gets a little bit louder, starting to feel the momentum potentially shifting, trying to will this defense as Agnew gets a hand on it. Here's a three, and it's drained once again by Nick Fleming. He was on fire in that first half, was 6 of 6 before his first miss. And even with that little bit of foul trouble in the early going and then the halftime break, he still comes out and knocks down a three. Now 7 of 8 on the night with 18 points.
Great shot by Fleming there. Just a hustle play, just who would get the ball after that tap. 2 guys diving on the floor. Right
Again,
place,
it's
right
a
time.
career night for Nick Fleming. It was a career night just back in the middle of the first half. His career high, 10 points. And he's a senior, too. This isn't a career high for a freshman or a sophomore. He is a senior. Sule Boom with the answer on the other end, though, to get it back down to 12.
Great inbounds play drawn up by Golding there, screening the inbounds passer for the quick three in the corner.
Now the question becomes, can the Miners put together a few stops to try and really chip away at the lead? Fleming. The bench erupts for a foul call. They don't get one here. Here's Kennedy in transition for three. It's a little bit short. Fans were ready to burst to their feet if that one fell.
I think everyone took a breath right there in the stadium.
There's some real intensity on the defensive end, especially from Christian Agnew right now for the Miners.
This is a breaking point. They're trying to cut it to 10. Get back in this one.
Crowd getting louder. Several of them standing their feet. But the answer once again, this time from Jason Spurgeon. Boy, every time the crowd is trying to get back into it, will this defense to a stop. The Thunderbirds find a way to score it.
Good move by the
Everything is
big
falling.
man.
Hollins will try the mid-range jumper, and he answers, so it's back to 12. Again, can the Miners find a way, though, to get a stop?
You got to get 3 stops in a row to get back in the game when you're down 10. That's the key. 3 stops in a row.
Southern Utah 4 of 5 from the field in this second half. 62% for the game. That's a tough shot, but a foul called. And it's going to go against Christian Agnew. That is his 3rd personal foul. Take a look at the replay.
Looked like there was a lot of offensive push-off there.
They just showed the replay on the big scoreboard here, and you can hear the reaction from the fans. They don't like it, and they look like they may have a good argument on that one. Agnew's arms came down as Butler was shooting it, but they called the contact on the way up. And at that point, it looked like it was pretty good defense.
It looked like they were both going at it pretty hard. Tough to make a no call there, but they've been letting them play. I would have liked to have seen it.
Now Butler, a 69% free throw shooter, is 4 for 4 here tonight. Make it 5 for 5. Butler will take a seat, and then Moody comes back in. And so the lead's back to 14. So they've just gone back and forth up to this point. Miners trying to chip into it, though. Nice drive by Sule Boom. Gets it back down to 12.
Neither team giving up here. Utah keeping their lead.
Step back 3 from Fleming. Finally misses one. Last touched by the Miners, and it'll stay on this end with Southern Utah.
Couldn't see who was out on from our angle. It looked like it was out on the
that's a good
Miners.
call by the officials. That's off the Miners.
It's tough to call these live. You see it on slow motion, it looks easy.
And the floater from Moody, that's his first basket of the night. He was the only Thunderbird who has yet to score in this one, so now every Thunderbird who's checked in has scored at least 2 points. No call there, and Kennedy gets the shot off the glass. And it looks like they're going to call a warning on Moody. Yep, they're going to call the flop warning. Doesn't really amount to much right now in this moment, but at least the Miner fans are taking that as a consolation, considering they feel like they've been on the short end of a lot of whistles over the last few minutes.
You don't see that a lot in college game, but they implemented that rule recently.
Boom, knocks it away. Kennedy in transition, up to Agnew, and Agnew finishes on the other end. So finally the Miners get a stop, and the lead is now down to 10, and that brings the UTEP crowd to its feet. The loudest this place has been tonight, trying to will the Miners back into it.
Can UTEP get a stop here?
Pass underneath, and the dunk from Jason Spurgeon. What a vision from John Knight III to silence the crowd.
It was a beautiful slip by Spurgeon. You know, UTEP is playing really hard deny defense, and Spurgeon read that, slip to the basket. Huge bucket for the Thunderbirds.
And now a whistle. They're going to the replay monitor. Not sure exactly what for yet. They're going to look at the clock. This is a clock issue. Official just came over and let us know. Shot clock is still at 30. So that's why they need to figure out the shot clock here. By the way, Anen Moody just checked out, as you see here on the bench. I think that's a move by Todd Simon, wanting to get him out of there after that flop warning. Make sure they don't give any extra momentum to UTEP. So this is strictly for the shot clock. They're checking to see how much time they need to take off. And they'll take 12 seconds off. So the shot clock down to 18. 12:01 left to play in this one. And the lead still 12 for Southern Utah. So impressed with the Thunderbirds' ability. It seems like every time the Miners make a basket, the crowd gets on its feet, the run is coming. And every time Southern Utah, with the exception of the one turnover, they've had an answer on the other end.
They have, and I think, you know, you can credit it to the experience of the team. They've been in these situations before where they've had to hold the lead. They're not young. So they understand the other team's going to make a couple runs, and they battle back on each of them.
And the problem for UTEP is Southern Utah just hasn't missed. The only way they've gotten the stop is via the turnover. Southern Utah 6 of 8 in this half. That's 75%. They're shooting 62% from the floor for the game. And it's almost halfway through the second half. Something tonight here at the Haskins Center they've never done before, which is beat UTEP. 3-0 overall are the Miners. Of course, that's way back, though, in the 90s. As the three-pointer from Christian Agnew out of the timeout is a little bit too strong, and now a chance after 4 straight makes from UTEP on the offensive end, a chance for Southern Utah to extend the lead.
Southern Utah can hold on to this lead. These would be 2 impressive back-to-back wins for Coach Simon to go on his resume.
Kent State out of the MAC in the opener, and now UTEP here.
You'll see Spurgeon continuing to slip.
Third with 3 seconds left. Gets his offensive rebound, though. Keeps the dribble as he falls to the ground. Shot clock was reset to 20. Now you got to look out for Marine. He can knock it down. Shot clock down to 5. Fleming from near midcourt. Little too strong. Boy, if that one went for Fleming, it's been an unreal night. That one would have been ridiculous.
What a defensive possession by UTEP, basically guarding 2 shot clocks.
Kennedy, nice finish with the right, shows his strength and size. 6'5" guard out of Austin, Texas, transferred from Xavier. So once again, the lead is down to 10. Miners just trying to crack that double-digit deficit and get it to single digits. Fans still in this one, trying to will them to it. Extra pass to Marine in the corner, steps inside the three-point line. That one's short, so finally, if you're a Miner fan, you're saying a couple of misses for Southern Utah. Can the Miners capitalize?
Well, Spurgeon tried to slip, as he keeps doing when UTEP's...
Kennedy throws it down! Over the 6'11" center out of Australia. That brings the crowd to its feet, and the Miners finally have this one back to single digits.
That'll get the crowd involved. Knight going right at him.
Fadeaway jumper from Knight the third, and he gets the roll off the front of the rim in the glass. The fans still on their feet, though, after that monster dunk from Keontae Kennedy. Trying to penetrate that zone, kick out to Kennedy, and he is feeling it right now.
He wants the ball.
Kennedy up to 15 points, leads the Miners, along with Sule Boom with 17.
Knight going right back at him again.
It's down to 7. Fawcett trying to push it back to 10. It's too strong. Agnew's going to let it go out of bounds. Smart play from Christian Agnew. That'll go back to the Miners. And with 9:08 to play, UTEP and the fans here feeling like they're on the brink of a comeback.
This is the closest UTEP's been.
You can sense the urgency from the Southern Utah sideline as well, though. Boom's three, a little bit too strong. Offensive rebound from Kennedy. No foul underneath on the putback. Rebound from Spurgeon. Now the Miners need to get back defensively. Fawcett blocked, but on his way up. A foul called against Titus Verhoeven. He thought it was clean.
The Miners just stayed down there trying to swat the ball from Spurgeon after he got the rebound instead of getting back on defense. Leads to the foul.
And you know what? It was clean from Verhoeven. They end up calling the foul on Sibley instead on a reach. So Amazing Fawcett to the line for 2 free throws. Makes the first. He's a 71% shooter. So it's the first personal foul on Jamari Sibley instead of Titus Verhoeven. And Fawcett's free throws temporarily quiet this crowd a little bit. And he gets the lead back to 9. Verhoeven goes one-on-one against Spurgeon, and he's a little too strong off the glass.
Great look going to his strong hand. He's just had trouble finishing tonight.
He has not scored tonight, now 0 for 4 from the field. And he is a 52% shooter from the field, and usually when he gets looks like that, they go. And he's been coming on really strong of late from the scoring department, has Titus Verhoeven. He scored 8+ points in 8 of his last 11 games, but still scoreless. Shot clock down to 4, and it's an air ball from Knight the third. Agnew pushing it in transition, and he gets bailed out by a foul. Virgin. That got a thunderous roar out of this crowd. But Southern Utah currently still with the last laugh. Kennedy was feeling it, but that one rattles in and out. It was a slow start for Kennedy, but he's been trying to will this team back into this one here in the second half, especially over the last few minutes. Foul called. It'll go against Jamari Sibley, freshman out of Milwaukee, transfer from Georgetown. That's his second personal. Neither team in the bonus yet.
Looked like Sibley was playing defense with his hands there and not his feet. Got him called for the foul.
Marine will try these 3, and that's an air ball. That's not something you see often from Dre Marine. So another chance from the Miners to get this even closer. Kennedy will try another 3. This one's open but short. So back-to-back misses from Keontae Kennedy after a nice little stretch.
UTEP continues to get good looks versus this zone. They're just not knocking them down.
Miners shooting just 37% as Moody is blocked in the lane by Verhoeven and then thrown away to Butler. He didn't have the numbers, and with the lead they have now, they'll take a little bit of time off the clock instead. Miscommunication there from the Miners. A cut to Spurgeon, but he couldn't handle it. Spurgeon was asking for a kick. They're not going to get it, and instead it's going to go back to the Miners. Jarrell Satterfield, Alfred Hollins will check back in for UTEP. Christian Agnew and Jamari Sibley will take a seat. And John Knight III will replace Anen Moody.
Impressed by UTEP's defense here in the second half. You know, they're struggling to score, but they're fighting. They're fighting on defense, and Southern Utah continues to hold them off.
A little bit of a drought here for the Miners and Southern Utah. Miners haven't scored in nearly 3 minutes. 0 for their last 5. Boom gets an open 3 from the corner, and it just barely rattles out and sat on the front of the rim there for a moment. That's just been the kind of night it's been for UTEP as a team.
They can't buy a bucket right now, but they still got a guard.
Shot clock inside 10 seconds as we approach 6 minutes to play. Marine with a rainbow 3, and that one goes in. And that pushes the lead back to double digits. It's a 12-point lead once again for Southern Utah. Baseline cut from Kennedy, tried to throw it down, but it was off the back side of the rim. And he's down on the floor still in the backcourt. Marine will try another 3 and splash.
Hope he's all right and didn't re-aggravate that injury.
So now the lead is 15 for Southern Utah. Satterfield open from 3, and that's off the mark. Verhoeven fighting for the offensive board, but it's out of bounds. Last touch by UTEP.
Typically straight off the bench, you don't want to be the guy shooting it right away. You know, get a feel for the game, but I think Satterfield thought that they needed something to get the team going.
Marines hit a couple of 3s back-to-back, now flying down the court. Instead, Todd Simon says, slow down. With just over 5 minutes left to play and a 15-point lead, the clock is the enemy of the Miners right now. Fleming kicks out, another open look for Marine, and 3 straight for Dre Marine, the redshirt senior out of Glendale, Arizona. And Marine is now up to 17 points.
Marine showing that his 7 for 10 last game was not a fluke. He's doing it again.
He gets called for the foul, knocking Titus Verhoeven from behind. Todd Simon said that he will go down as one of the best to play in a Southern Utah university. Broke the record earlier this year for games played, most games played in the Big Sky. It was 139 games. It's his 5th year playing for Southern Utah University, and he started 28 games as a true freshman, so he's been playing for the entirety of his career.
Southern Utah's done a great job coming in here to a foreign venue, you know, at a high elevation. That doesn't look like fatigue is an issue for them even after their long trip.
Verhoeven gets both free throws to go. So those are finally his first points of the evening, 0 for 4 from the field, and a good sign for the Miners as Keontae Kennedy has just checked back in the game after going out with injury. He doesn't look 100%. He looks a little hobbled right now, but they got him back out on the floor.
UTEP will likely be in this full court pressure for the rest of the game. Marine wanted to shoot it there. Thought better.
Yeah, Thunderbirds didn't have a problem breaking that press, and instead of potentially missing there and giving the ball back early, take some time off the clock, and John Knight III gets the deuce, and the lead is once again swelling as there's a foul now on John Knight III, and it's against Sule Boom on a 3-pointer. And when you're up 18 with 4:25 to go, that is the last thing you want to do.
And they really like the athleticism of Knight for Southern Utah. That was a set play. They send 4 to the baseline, have 2 guards pop out, and he just takes it to the hole one-on-one if he's got a favorable matchup on him.
Miners still haven't made a field goal in over 5 minutes. The only thing that's allowed them to score some points here of late has been the free throw line. Cam Clardy checks in for the first time. Kennedy comes right back out, so I'm not sure if he tried to give it a go and just couldn't quite give what he needed. We'll see if he checks back in somewhere in this final 4:24, or maybe at least on the defensive end. Maybe they'll try and switch him in on offense instead of this full court press. nearly thrown away. Marine now trapped in the corner. He'll call racism as the Miners here at home down by 15 against Southern Utah. And not a lot of time left to try and get back into it. Southern Utah breaks the press just fine.
I thought that was a 10-second call.
Butler underneath, but he loses the handle, and it's a turnover to Sule Boom. So an opportunity here for the Miners. Sibley will try the three. It's off the mark. Rebound, though, to Agnew. That is a tough shot from Agnew, and it's tipped by John Knight III. Got caught up in the air. Extra pass to Fawcett, and Fawcett throws it down. And that might be the exclamation mark as the lead is now 17. Some fans are starting to head to the exits. Boom gets the roll off the front of the rim to get it back down to 15.
UTEP's going to need a few steals or stops here. And they're going to have to hit some shots if they want to get back in this. 3 minutes left. There's plenty of time.
Fleming is trapped, but he's able to find Marine. Extra pass to Butler in the corner for three. Off the mark. Todd Simon just yelling out no threes. Sibley will try one, and that one won't fall.
Southern Utah's unique 2-3 zone, almost a matchup, has caused issues for UTEP all game.
Approaching 2.5 left to play. Butler was going to go to the basket, but Todd Simon yelled at him and said, hold it. So they're just trying to take as many seconds off the clock now. Knight III, the extra pass to Fawcett. Little pump fake, and Fawcett back-to-back buckets for him. Lead back to 17 with 2.
But if someone that they don't think can shoot has the ball on him immediately, anyone else, let's play it out.
Butler, the inbounder, is a 69% shooter. So they try and trap it first. Miner fans wanted a call there. So they're not fouling here. They are playing defense, trying to get one more stop, trying to trap Fleming. Fleming finds Butler, though, who throws it down. Now 1:20 left to play. Agnew to the basket quickly. Gets it back down to 14. Now at this point, I can't imagine they're playing a full shot clock of defense here. Try and trap, get the steal, and if not, they're going to have to foul at some point. Just over a minute to go and trying to make up a 14-point deficit. I'm surprised they didn't foul Butler there at 69%.
I think they're just, Golding's going to let it play now. This concludes a very successful season by UTEP and first season for Golding here at UTEP.
Yeah, if they're not fouling here, they're pretty much throwing in the towel in this one. And there's the final exclamation mark, and now he's had such a storied career here. He graduated. They honored him here on senior day despite not being a senior because he did graduate. So Sule Boom's night finishes with 25 points as the shot is banked in, and a smile from Joe Golding as a Jifa. He gets 3 points. He's a freshman out of Paris, France, so he could be a future for the Miners. He even puts his arms up there. Sometimes it just goes for you. But it got a final smile out of Joe Golding. But there will be a big smile here from Todd Simon and the Southern Utah Thunderbirds, who are going to come away from the Don Haskins Center with a victory, and an emphatic one at that, a 13-point win 82-69 the final.